Hello again, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I have a question that I'd like to ask the people who may be viewing this. I've noticed that the people I've come into contact with since I started posting videos again on YouTube tend to be very helpful and a cut above the average. And so I'm hoping that one or more of you might have some suggestions to help me with the problem that I've been having for a while now. Back when I was working, I loved to read. I was voracious, minimum 100, 125 books a year, even when I was working 2 full-time jobs. Since I've become a man of leisure, I mean, everybody has reading slumps, but I think I've finished 3 books this year so far, and it's getting pretty bad. I start a lot of books, and I don't know if maybe it's the choice of material or it's because I feel like I have to read them, and I'm going to run through some of them. I have to say that when I was young, I was a fiction reader up until my late teens, and then it became almost strictly nonfiction. Recently, I've been trying to read fiction again, and I have been reading some steampunk, some original stuff, and some of the modern. Mark Hodder has a series. If you haven't read them, I've read the first 3, Sir Richard Burton and the poet Swinburne. But I wanted to read something else, and I picked up this one, which is a sequel to The Time Machine. It's called Morlock Nights, and it's considered one of the first steampunk novels, modern steampunk novels, and it's written by the person who coined the phrase steampunk, apparently. And I was chugging along. I'm up to 134, chapter 6, but to me this has turned out to be more of a fantasy novel than a steampunk novel. So I petered out. The Exorcist is a novel I really enjoyed back in the day. So William Peter Blatty had a novel come out in the last year or so and got good reviews. I started out strong for the first few chapters. Again, petered out. Here at the apartment building that I've moved into, people place books out in the hallway. They have bookshelves out there. So I put some out, and others put people out. And Peter Ackroyd is an author I had heard about. I had some of his books on my list. This one is about, it's fiction, but based on the Lambs, Mary and Charles Lamb, real people. And I picked it up on a whim because I wasn't making any progress on any of my other books. Got a little ways into it. Nope. My friend Sam is a gifted writer, literary historian, editor. Put together this first issue of his new publication, Sargasso. He publishes a website, blog based on the writer William Hope Hodgson. If you haven't heard about him, you may have heard of his Karnaki, the Ghost Hunter stories. I'll try and remember to put a link to Sam's blog in the description. I was chugging along halfway through, enjoying it greatly. This is both fiction, nonfiction. It was a gift from Sam. I've co-published with him. I've always been blessed to be able to read his stuff before he sends it out. But I stalled for some reason. I don't know why. I'm on Goodreads, and a very lovely woman by the name of Shauna Bernard sent me this collection, and I've enjoyed exchanging emails with her, posts on Facebook. I've read some of the shorter pieces. I love the artwork in here, but again, cannot get myself moving. I was lucky enough to win a contest a while back ago from, IDW Publishing, of 4 collections. They're very nice volumes, hardcover volumes of collections of sequential art comic books. And this is a Frankenstein series, as you can see. And I'm about halfway through. The first half were done straight horror. They weren't as good, but once it became more of a spoof humor, I really was enjoying it. Read a couple in a row one night. Stalled. And I don't know. And I think that the problem is when I get a book, I had this problem in school. I wasn't a reader in school. It feels like, you know, even when it's given with the best intentions, and I want to read the book, I enter a contest, or I say yes when they ask me if I want it. When I get it, it becomes like homework, and it shouldn't. And this is going to be borne out by this. This book I've pretty much finished, but our president of our church leadership team gave us each a copy, and we've been doing a chapter every other month for the meetings, and that's the only thing that kept me reading. This one I won on Goodreads, also a religious book. I made it about a third of the way in. That's where I'm at. C.H. Spurgeon, book on grace. I was enjoying it, found it informative, found it insightful, found it stopped after a fourth of the way in. This one I haven't started yet. You may have seen videos featuring this gentleman. I'm not even going to pronounce his last name, but Nick here, as you can see from the photo, has had to face some adversities in his life that make mine look like, you know, nothing. He's an amazing person. I won this book on Goodreads. I really want to start it. I've picked it up I don't know how many times, but since I'm in the middle of so many other books, this book I have both in hardcover, and I have started listening to it as an audiobook from audible.com. Fascinated by the subject of Stoicism. There was a time when I would have plunged into this book and read it in a day or two, even with somebody else reading it to me. Nope. I don't even want to remember how long ago I started this one. It's basically on self-education, autodidactism. That probably massacred that word, but how you can teach yourself, how you can get the most out of, and that an education doesn't stop when you leave school. The writing, I'll admit, on this one is dry, but the subject matter is fascinating. But again, I made it about halfway through. And I think part of the problem is, too, that there are always books that I want to read that are waiting. I've read the first 3 books in, I know it's got a different name, but I call it the Game of Thrones. And I really want to start this one. And feel like I can't start another book, especially, 900 pages or more, when I have all these other ones sitting in front of me. And I had the first 2 volumes of the Clark Ashton Smith collection. There's 4 more, if I'm not mistaken. And this is an author I've always wanted to read. I bought myself these quite a while ago, and because of all these other books ahead of it, never get to them. So my question is, whether it's books or films or whatever it is that's holding you up, do you find yourself procrastinating, falling into a slump? Have you found ways to jar yourself out of it, to motivate yourself? It's not that I don't want to, and I granted I am dealing with depression and stuff, but I mean, this is reading. I mean, it's like films. These are things I grew up loving and dreaming of having all the time in the world to do. And now I have, pretty much, short of some meetings and commitments, I have nothing but time to fill. And other than YouTube videos and brooding in a dark corner over there, don't tell my therapist that, I'm not doing the stuff that I used to love. And so if anybody has any suggestions, lay them on me. I'm more than open to hearing your story and any advice you may have. And if no one responds, I'm fine with that too. It may be one of those insurmountable problems that, I've talked to professionals. I've actually had I swear to God, I had a therapist, after I got done explaining how I felt like doing nothing and was apathetic, assign me a book to read. So you got to do better than that. You couldn't do worse. So if you have any advice, post a video response, post something in the comments. Feel free to send me a personal message. I'm on Facebook too, under the Media Bunker, Tim Gable. However you want to contact me. Pretty much looks like I ain't going anywhere, so more videos probably coming eventually. I seem to be at least into a slight habit of doing this now, so thank God for small blessings, at least for me. You people have to put up with it. I hope you've had an awesome weekend and that the week ahead is even better. Take care. Bye-bye, and thank you.